Like you get this universal download that you can't even put into words when you come back here because words create boundary.
Forced my eyes open.
Wow.
And then I was back in my body, back into pain, back into agony, back in the hospital bed with all the wires and tubes and the heart monitors and all that stuff glued to my chest. And it was like, wow, that was the wildest experience I ever.
All right, guys, got the power couple here today, Billy and Elisabeth. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Hey,
Thanks
you.
for
Good to
having
be
us.
here.
Yes.
Have you guys been a guest on a show at the same time before?
We do our
Have
own,
we?
don't we? I
Only
think
our own, but
own
not
show.
anyone else's,
Yeah.
actually. First
Cool.
time.
First
Let's
time.
do it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Love it.
Okay.
And you guys just got back from Egypt, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. About a week ago, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was
Amazing.
incredible. It was
Yeah.
my favorite time, except for the first time that Billy took me to Egypt in 2020 or 2021?
2021, I believe.
Yeah, I loved that trip. But this one was incredible.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
You went in the Sphinx, the pyramids, all that?
Oh, yeah. We had 100 people from all over the world, literally. Went and took them to the Sphinx on the first day to give them the first introduction to like what the Forbidden Tour is going to be like.
Yeah.
And it was before sunrise. So we're waiting for the sunrise to come out of the east, showing them the Sphinx enclosure, teaching them all of the ancient history about the Sphinx, the enclosure, and even showing them some underground areas that go down deep beneath the Sphinx to underground tunnels that lead to other areas in Egypt and even outside of Egypt.
Wow. Yeah, I heard they're doing scans on the buildings now, so there's a bunch of hidden rooms still to be discovered,
Oh, yeah.
They're
They keep
discovering
finding new
something
stuff.
new. Yeah, every day.
which is
Every day in
insane.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Did you guys do any sound therapy when you were in the pyramids?
We did some meditation. Elisabeth did showed people a hidden spot inside the pyramid. You want to talk about
Yes,
that?
there's a little spot that hardly anybody knows about. And it's like right before you get into the King's Chamber. But I took a couple people in there and we hummed, and the resonance is so deep that you can feel it within your body. So, but I heard that if you have like a bad heart or something, or you have bad energy, it does not resonate. So the sound will not resonate.
Whoa.
So yeah. Very interesting. But yeah, hardly anybody knows about that. And so I took a couple people in there and we hummed and felt it all the way through our bodies, up and down.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I've been looking into the power of sound healing lately, and these sound bowls. It's
Oh, it's
fascinating.
incredible.
Yeah.
Sound healing. is
Healing is truly the healing of the future. It was the healing of the past, but it's going to be the healing of the future. Frequency and sound, cymatics, because it has a direct effect on the cellular energy and the vibration of the cells. If you have a cell that is malformed or having an issue, if you have a canceling vibration, you can cancel out that dark energy or that negative or malformed cell. The same thing with frequencies. So frequencies and cymatics all are going to be the future of healing.
Wow, that's exciting.
Non-invasive.
Yeah, not with Western medicine though, right? They won't incorporate that.
No.
No.
You got to go overseas for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or invent it and hide it in your house.
I want to talk about the previous trip you guys had because that was
Yeah.
a wild one.
Oh, man, listen.
Crazy.
Wow. Turkey.
Yeah.
And we took people on tour to Turkey. We
About
got
40
to Turkey.
people?
Yeah, about 40 people, right?
Yeah.
The tour started off great. But then we got to a stumbling block about what day? Day 3?
I think it was about day 3. Yeah. No, it was like day 4. It was
Okay.
like day 4 or 5,
Yeah.
actually. This was a 10-day tour.
Yeah.
About halfway through. Usually Billy and I are the leaders of every tour. We always run through the pyramids and we climb the fastest. We're running up mountains.
Yeah.
And we're always in the lead. And we were hiking up Nemrut Mountain in Turkey, and I was in the lead running. I was all excited, going. And I'm looking back, and I'm like, Billy's not here. I'm like, where is he? So I had to actually wait for him a couple times. And I was like, this is weird. So at that point, we didn't really know what was going on. But
Yeah. I knew I had a slight fever that morning, about maybe 100, 101. And I knew like this is going to be a little challenging, but I'm going to do the mountain because the people paid. They came here. I've got to go with them. But as we started up the mountain, I started noticing my breath was running out and I couldn't keep my breath. So I started raising my hands, trying to find a way to expand my lungs and everything else. And I stopped twice going up this mountain, which is probably about maybe 45-degree incline for probably 500 to 600 yards. We didn't go all the way from the base. We stopped the bus somewhere at an entrance point. But normally, like she says, we can just run up that and like be at the top. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
I knew something was kind of strange, and I just thought I was getting some type of a cold. I rarely get sick. That marked the 10th cold of my entire life. I actually have an award at home for not being sick for 8 years because I coached and trained U.S. Junior Olympics, AAU basketball, travel ball, and high school, and the YMCA sports. And they gave me an award for never missing a practice, a tournament, or a game.
Wow.
And so you're talking about a person that never gets sick. So when this started happening, I was in a little bit of doubt, a little bit of denial, thinking, whatever, this is just, I'll be fine tomorrow. But tomorrow never got better, and coming down the mountain, I think that was the day that trek up that mountain dropped my immune system even more to let what was already attacking me take over, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it only got worse
you had a touch of, I think you might have gotten sick before we left for Turkey because we always track our biometrics.
Yeah.
So we noticed on his Oura ring that his fever or his temperature was spiking a little bit, even on the way to Turkey. So I think that you had caught something, but usually his body fights it off. Like when he gets sick, he gets a headache. And when I get sick, I die. I'm like this close to death. So I realized I thought it was just going to be one of those, headaches and he was going to be fine. But no, it ended up getting so bad.
Damn.
Horrible bad.
Yeah, and you pretty much had a near-death experience from there, right?
Yeah. That night after the Nembert Mountain, I woke up in a very cold sweat.
He was sleepwalking that night.
Sleepwalking, which I never do.
Yeah.
I never sleepwalk. She told me I was sleepwalking.
So
I was
woke up and
what?
he was just walking around.
No, it was weird. So in the middle of the night, I couldn't sleepwalk because he was not doing well. So I was kind of nervous already. But he got up in the middle of the night, ran over to the temperature gauge and started pressing it on and off, on and off, on and off. I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, it's so hot in here. I know you said it was so cold. And I was like, okay. So I was just letting him do that. I didn't know. Usually, sometimes he gets tired and whatever. So he came back to the bed. And then he took the blanket and he ripped it off of me and he covered himself off in it. And he was so strong with the blanket. I was trying to pull it over. I couldn't pull it over. I was like, yeah, something's going on with him.
I was in another dimension. I had no idea what
But he didn't know that he did that the next morning.
I had no idea. Yeah. And the fever then persisted, got stronger. My appetite started disappearing. And I started getting this groggly sound on every inhale and exhale in my lungs. And I thought it was just phlegm building up from being sick. I'm like, damn, I'm really sick. I can't believe this. But I kept thinking I was going to turn the corner the next day and the next day. But it just persisted to get worse and worse and worse, and fevers and shakes. I had sweat coming out of my body in places. It was
his arms had these pools of sweat coming out of them. It was so weird. And usually, so we get really prepared before we go on these tours because when you travel, when you're around a lot of people, when you're sniffing ancient dust, it's bad for your body. Yeah. So we really take preventative measures before we go places. And so we were on a peptide protocol. And unfortunately, we ran out of insulin needles. So we had thymosin alpha-1, which is a immune booster peptide. And we were taking that every day. And it was kind of keeping his cold or whatever he had at bay. But the minute we ran out of insulin needles, it was full blown. All of a sudden, it just went
wow.
Yeah.
It went
so
crazy.
Bad. So bad.
And then I started getting, of course, appetite disappeared, started losing weight. I couldn't barely stay awake because I couldn't breathe. So I wasn't getting any oxygen. It made me feel like I wanted to go to sleep all the time. And I knew we had to get back to America because we went looking for insulin needles all throughout Turkey. Out in the country of Cappadocia and Sanliurfa, and nobody had them. I'm like, you guys don't even have needles? I can't go to the hospital here. They're going to kill me. So I knew we had to get back home. We finally flew back to Istanbul to get the flight to come back. And that was hard just to get into the airport and get through the airport. Luckily, she flagged somebody down who had one of those electric wheelchairs.
Oh, wow.
And convinced the guy to put me in it. Otherwise, we would have missed the flight. Got back. I was still in denial. I'm not going to lie. I was in denial. I was getting even worse. I got a little bit better because she gave me the thymosin alpha-1 to hold me over a few days.
Yeah.
But then right before we started getting ready to leave to come back, I was getting worse, and she had prednisone. Mm-hmm. And I said, how in the world does she have prednisone here in Turkey? She had her own prednisone. She gave me the prednisone. That literally saved my life and kept me alive for a few more days to get back to America. And some other medicines that she had that really just kept me going. When we got back,
I had some antibiotics.
Wow.
Antibiotics
Thank God
she
had these.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have been gone in Turkey. Forget getting back.
Yeah.
That prednisone gave me the life I needed to even survive the trip home.
And to
Holy
eat, because
crap.
he hadn't eaten in probably about 5 days.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So he gave him, I don't know, it was like, I thought for a second, I was like, oh, he's just sick in Turkey. I'm like, by the time we get home, he's going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's how much the prednisone worked. because we got to the airport and he ate a huge burger. I was like, oh, you good? I'm like, you super
First time
good
I ate
now.
in days.
Yeah.
And I thought I was turning the corner, but it was the prednisone. It was an illusion.
It was the prednisone.
False alarm.
False alarm, yeah. I survived to get home. I needed that little meal kept me alive a little bit longer. But by the time we got home, I was so sick and so tired and exhausted, couldn't even go up the steps of my own house. Luckily, we have an elevator in the house. If it wasn't for the elevator, I had to sleep downstairs.
Damn.
The elevator literally kept me going to our bedroom. And then we went to the against my wishes, we went to that place.
Because like I walked in our bedroom and I'm noticing him and he's slumped over. And I'm like, are you okay? And I was like, are you having trouble breathing? Because he never told me that he was having any trouble breathing at all until we got home. And I was like, and I kind of heard it and I saw you slumped. And I was like, that's different. I'm like, are you having trouble breathing? And he goes, yeah, but I don't feel like I'm in any danger though. I'm good. I was like, okay, no, we have to go to the doctor. I'm like, listen, let's just go get an x-ray to make sure your lungs are clear. There could be fluid, who knows? Like, let's just, take it because we're, against kind of Western medicine. They really screwed up my family. So any means possible will stay away from, that.
Hospitals.
Yes. But I was like, just to get checked. I'm like, let's just get tested. Just get an x-ray and see. So we ended up going, and it was bad. The lady came back, and she was like, I'm sorry, I don't like to do this, but you guys need to go to the emergency room, like, now.
Yeah, she said
and
you need to get your lungs drained.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was completely full of fluid. His left lung was completely full of fluid, the right a little bit. And, it was
bad. My oxygen transport was down to 25%.
Oh, my God.
Which is why I couldn't stay awake. Got to the hospital, it was 87%. 84%.
It was 84% blood oxygen.
Yeah,
which is really low, right?
Horrible. And your white blood cell count is supposed to be between 5 and 11.
Yeah,
like a healthy person. His white blood cell count was at 30.
30.
And at 40, you're septic.
You're dead.
At 40, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was trending up towards 40. I was going into septic shock.
And then listen to this, Sean. So this lady comes in and she was like trying to put an oxygen tube in his nose. And she comes in trying to do it. And he's like, I don't need oxygen. I'm good. I don't need that. And she looked at me. She's like, yes, sir. Yes, you do. I was like, babe, take the oxygen.
You still didn't think you were sick?
No. But I came to the reality in the hospital when I closed my eyes and I would disappear from the hospital. This is my near-death experience began. And I was like, this is when my white blood cell count was still trending up. And when I would close my eyes, the walls would vanish. Everything would be, I would disappear from the hospital and I was in this other place.
Whoa.
And I was like, this is weird. But my eyes were closed, but they were open.
Yeah.
And I was looking around and I could see things. I could see nature. I could see ancient civilizations. Somebody came, or I can't describe the person's look or whatever, but they came and showed me all these different hominids. It was like a digital readout of all the different hominids over hundreds of thousands of years, different kinds of plant life. And I got this feeling like I can go explore. I said, this is weird. So then I opened my eyes and I was back in my body, back in the pain, back in the agony. And then a little while later, I closed my eyes again and I went back to this place. It was an instant transfer. It wasn't a delay. It was the second I closed my eyes, I was there in the same exact place every time. And after doing about a third time when I was there was this kind of a knowing. It wasn't any words that I specifically heard from any voice, but it was this kind of knowing, like it was a saying like, you can stay here. It was like this understanding. You can stay here and you can be at peace and you can just explore for eternity. Or you can go back. But if you go back, it's going to be hard. And when I had that understanding, I remembered I just got married. I haven't even been married 1 year yet. My wife is young.
Yeah.
And she would be distraught. So I wanted to get back to my family. So I said, no, I'm going back. And when I forced my eyes open, I was back in my body, back in the pain, back in the agony. I looked over to my left, and she was still there, camped out in the hospital. She never left my side the whole time.
Wow.
Even though our house was only 5 minutes away. She stayed in the hospital the whole time. And I saw her there, and I was like, wow, I'm back. And then about maybe an hour later, I said, let me just see if that place was some type of illusion or whatever. So I closed my eyes again. I couldn't get back. I kept trying and trying and trying. I couldn't get back. No matter what I did, I couldn't get back to that place.
Do you think that was a glimpse of the afterlife?
I think so. My opinion, yeah, that was the afterlife. That was another dimension or something. But once I made that official choice to stay here and fight, I couldn't get back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
It was crazy. I think that once you get to that level of, I don't know, sickness, your vibration, I mean, I think you kind of go into other dimensions. I don't know if you even remember this, but he was so delirious the whole time we were in Turkey. But you were waking up, and then you said this one day, these words, these like ancient words, and you were like, Thoth was talking to me, and you were repeating it, and you were like, I need to look this up. I don't know what this means.
Oh, I remember. Yes.
Yeah. It was
right.
like all these words.
Yes.
I'm like, what are you saying right now?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was wild. That's right.
But I think that you were shifting between, I think when you're like that, everything kind of blends into one. So you can kind of go to the other side easily. You can cross into other dimensions and get deeper knowledge because you're already there. So, I mean, that was crazy. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
When you have near-death experiences, there's a lot of accounts of that, right? That cross.
A lot of that crossing over. And it seems to be, I talked to somebody else who had a relative that had a similar experience, and they also were kind of given a choice. And that relative chose to go back because they had young kids and wanted to take care of the kids. And same thing happened. They tried to go back again to see, but they couldn't get back in.
Interesting. Did that experience change your perspective on death?
Yeah, it did. It changed my perspective on death because I already felt like I wasn't really afraid of death. But when that happened, I realized it was really, truly a transition into really to have no fear whatsoever because it was in the blink of an eye. I was in another place with no pain, completely tranquil, completely peaceful. And so I knew at that moment, like, I'm not looking to die now, but when it happens, there's nothing to fear.
Nice. That's beautiful because a lot of people fear death, right?
Yeah. Do you know what? It's crazy because when you talk about the place, it's like the exact same place that I went when I took high-dose psychedelics, mushrooms. I was in the same place. Wow. It was almost like it's just everything is one. And it's like you're there and it's so peaceful. There's really no emotion. It's not really like euphoric. It's just everything is peace.
It's peace.
And everything is one. And it's like an all-knowing. Like you get this universal download that you can't even put into words when you come back here because words create boundaries. And there's no boundaries there. So, I mean, that's
interesting.
Yeah, that's
because they communicate with telepathy in that realm, right? You weren't physically talking when you were there.
No, I wasn't physically talking at all. Like I said, they weren't even giving me words in terms of like saying, "Hey, you want to stay here or go back?" It wasn't like those words were heard. It was this general knowing or understanding that was so incredible. And you're like, "Oh yeah, okay," and you make a decision. I said to myself, "No, I'm going to go back." And once I did that, I forced my eyes open, and then I was back in my body. Back in the pain, back in the agony, back in the hospital bed with all the wires and tubes and the heart monitors and all that stuff glued to my chest, and it was like, wow, that was the wildest experience I had.
Crazy. Well, everything happened for a reason, though, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe someone wanted to show you that experience.
Yeah. Well, I got the experience, I got the understanding, and I can translate that understanding to people now, so they can release that fear of passing over.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did that make you guys want to slow down?
Yes.
Look.
We slowed down.
It's like, look, nothing. All I kept saying to him when he was sick, I'm like, nothing matters. Like, it doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Right.
Like, if you're not here, nothing, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't matter. I'm like, only this matters.
Right.
So, I mean, it gave me a completely new perspective. You know? I'm like, it doesn't, we can push this off. I mean, we were going, the week before we went to Turkey, I think we hit 4 states, working in 4 states, and Billy was in 5 states.
Yeah.
And the week before Turkey, I'm talking in a 5-day period.
Jeez.
Like it was
flying to every state, working in every state, getting on a plane, leaving straight from a podcast, going to the next to the airport, flying to another state, working, going to the airport.
Same day. Yeah. It was wild, the amount of, and we were both on the same, agreement and understanding. Hey, like you got to ride the wave. You know, we got to keep on going. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
But the results is not great. You can't do that. You have to give your body and your mind a chance to recover and recoup. And when you don't do that, like this happens. So I'm like, no, it's just not worth it.
It was a big lesson. We canceled, we had to reschedule Amsterdam, which was a huge event, probably 3,000 people. We had to reschedule London, which was going to be sold out, about 1,200 people.
I would have canceled Egypt too. I would have. If we didn't have 101 people that expected us to be there, I would have canceled that too.
Wow.
But
we took it easy in Egypt. It gave me about 2 weeks to into my recovery, which obviously I wasn't fully recovered. But by the time we got there, I was doing a lot better. And she monitored me and kept me from doing a little too much.
He would have did everything if I wasn't there.
She listen, without Elisabeth, I'd probably got sick again.
No,
I'm not
he
gonna
was
lie.
talking about, look, we were in Karnak, right? And Karnak is this huge temple.
Yeah.
And we're walking, and it's very sandy. And this sand is like, I don't know.
It's like powder.
Powder sand. And he's like walking, and he's like, man, my lungs kind of burn right now.
Oh, God.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, that's because your lungs are not healed.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, it's normal because the powder is like coming. And I'm like, how come everybody breathing the powder and their lungs don't hurt? So I was
That's
like,
so funny.
So she stopped me. She slowed me down, and but I listened.
yeah.
I listened.
Thank goodness you did.
And I'd stop going into some of the sites. I would be at the entrance and greet the people as they went in and out, but I didn't go inside some of the places.
Yeah, because pyramids are steep, right?
Oh, yeah. Dusty, and it's completely dusty.
You're talking about, 100,000-year-old dust, man. You don't even know what's in it.
Yes.
So but I listened. I took heed, and fortunately, during the trip, I actually gained some more weight back. By the time we got there, I think I was 206 pounds. I lost 22 pounds.
Damn.
Yeah, I
In
lost
2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, I lost 22 pounds.
A pound a day, right?
Yeah, that's
in
wild.
about 10 days. 10
days, I lost. I went down to 2. I went from 222 to 200 pounds, which for me, I'm 6'4". You're a little taller than me, but you understand our weight. Like we can't get to a certain we'll be looking very sick. It's very easy to look sick. So I lost those 22 pounds, and then I gained back about 6 before we got to Egypt. By the time we got back from Egypt, I was like 210, and now I'm 211 and a half. So I'm on the way to gaining back some weight, which is good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are all right.
Yeah,
that would have been a big loss, man, because you guys have some big
God.
missions in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And I can see why you have such a drive to work and get the message out, because there's a lot of people that need to be saved, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're not here, then nothing else matters.
That's true.
I feel the same way, though. That's why I film so many episodes.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah.
know each episode is helping someone.
Right,
Yes,
it's helping,
yes,
period,
it
and
is.
we want to thank you for we had to reschedule your podcast with you, remember? Because we couldn't, I was like, man, we can't do this right now.
Right.
I think I was really just in my first week of recovery. So,
Pushed a lot of things out.
Yeah.
Pushed a lot of things
Nah,
out.
take your time, guys.
Yeah.
Man, well, what's next? Did you cancel pretty much everything?
Well, now we're getting back on this. We are planning 2025, you know. We have a tour in Peru in June. And then we have a forbidden tour of Egypt in October again.
Hopefully you'll make it. Hopefully
Yeah,
you'll
I'm
make
gonna come
it.
next time.
Yes.
I had so many episodes that week. I was like,
Oh,
I
totally
feel bad
understand.
canceling on these people.
Yeah,
Totally
no,
understand,
we understand. If anybody
Yeah,
understands,
right.
we
We get it.
understand.
We totally
we
get
get it.
I'm trying to catch the world record.
Nice.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan has
You're
it.
gonna do it. You're gonna do it.
Yeah. He's at 2,500.
Wow.
So I'm halfway there.
Wow. Beautiful, man.
Yeah. 2-3 years.
Wow. If anything we can do to help you, we'll help you, man.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you,
Absolutely.
man. Yeah, you guys have been awesome. Your award show was great. Your event was phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stephen Greer crying on stage really inspired me to talk more about aliens, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, I've
Great.
had on some alien experts after that.
Oh, man. Amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Roderick Martin.
Yeah? Oh, wow. Beautiful.
on.
Roderick.
Oh,
yes.
that's cool. Yeah.
That's great.
I love
Shout out to Roderick
We
Martin.
actually
Yeah,
we
beautiful.
managed Roderick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
he's
fun episode.
great.
He thinks
He's
they come
great.
out of the water, right? The
Yeah.
UFOs.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, man. Listen, there's so many things that can happen. I mean, you have Christopher Columbus wrote in his captain's log that he saw a bright light come up out of the ocean and it lit up everything and then it flew off into space. Now,
Wow.
captains don't just write these things in their log.
That's crazy.
This is like one of the most important things of being a captain is your log.
Yeah.
So when they write stuff like that down, you got to pay attention to it.
I'm surprised I never heard about that.
Yeah, it's big. It's big time.
Wow, and that was hundreds of years ago. So they've
Yes.
probably been around for a minute.
1400s.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
They've probably been here before humans, right?
Oh yeah, we're the new kids on the block. We just arrived, man. People think we're the end all be all, the pinnacle of civilization, the pinnacle of hominid in the universe.
It's very egotistical.
Yeah.
Humans
Yeah.
to really think that.
Think of where we came from in 100 years: a horse, buggy, and carriage. And now we have Voyager 1 in interstellar space, remote control cars on other planets like rovers, right, on Mars. And now that's only 100 years. Imagine another civilization that's 1 million years ahead of us.
Exactly.
Now we have AI, we've got AGI coming on the horizon, which is going to be sentient, conscious AI. We have robotics and and all this. A million years from now, what will it be? I mean, we can't even fathom the level that it will be. We would look like gods to another civilization on a less advanced planet.
Facts.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with history they teach in modern day. They treat us like we're the top, we're the most advanced civilization, right? They built the pyramids with wheelbarrows.
Right. Chicken bones and copper chisels.
Yeah.
And that's far from the truth, right?
Yeah, way far from the truth. When you get to the pyramid, and you'll see it eventually one day with us, you'll realize one big farce in the story that they've been giving us about how the pyramids were built. They always show these cookie cutter stone blocks. Each block is individually made specifically for the location that it's in. It's an interlocking block system, and no two blocks are identical.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody talks about that. So you're talking about over 2 million individually cut, created pieces of a puzzle that were locked together. You're not talking about going somewhere, harvesting stone out of a quarry, making cookie cutter sized blocks, and somehow magically rolling them on tree logs up a mud ramp to the location and then putting them into place, because it wouldn't work. Every block is made specifically for the exact location that it's set in, and you would need more mud than the total mass of the pyramid itself if you were going to make mud ramps, and that would be impossible.
That is crazy, right?
Yeah, there's evidence of technology all over Egypt.
Yeah.
All
Really?
over. Tool marks everywhere.
Tool marks everywhere.
Tool marks?
Yes.
Tool marks on cut stone, cut diorite and cut crystal granite, which is a very hard stone on the most scale. So
I
you're
don't think
talking
we have
about
a tool these days
No.
that can do, like, I think there was a tiny little like tube going through diorite, right?
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
We don't have a
these
tool. We
days.
don't have a blade that can make that exact cut today. We can cut diorite and we can cut granite, but we can't make those specific types of intricate cuts that they showed.
Without cracking the entire
Even
piece.
creating a nail bed on a toe of a statue of diorite, we don't have the ability to do that. Not with that level of perfection. It almost looks like it's laser etched.
Crazy. Do you think they used levitation to get the blocks up?
Oh yeah, they definitely had to use levitation. They use anti-gravity. They use other different types of technology, cymatic frequencies. They had many different forms, I think, of building. No, I don't think it specifically was just one tool or one technique. They probably incorporated a handful of techniques to create that structure, but definitely nothing that we would do today.
That's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
What do you think wiped them out?
Well, it's interesting. If you look at the history of Egypt, for example, at the Great Pyramid, we find out something interesting. No slaves built that pyramid. Slaves did not touch the pyramid at all. That's a farce. Unfortunately, it's a fake. It's fake news. What really happened was advanced beings with advanced knowledge laid out a blueprint and taught a specific group of people. They became the brick masons, the Shatu, and they actually also then worked with human beings to help construct the pyramid. And the people that worked on the pyramid were happy to do so because they were honoring the gods. Further in the future, you see now that there are temples and little structures around the Giza Plateau, and inside of them they found evidence of workers' forms, what do you call it? Employment. When you have your employees, what do you call that again? Like your staff, your work staff.
Yeah.
So they found evidence of the work staff inside some of these little temples and little structures, right? Not only the work staff, but also they discovered the payroll documents.
Holy crap.
And they even discovered the medical documents that they had insurance.
What?
So if they broke an arm or broke a leg, they were taken care of. And all this was documented and it all stored there. So we're talking about the fact that, and they were doing restoration on something that already existed. They weren't building it from scratch, they were restoring it. And evidence shows that there was a lot of restoration over thousands of years on the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. And this restoration was from these workers. So again, adding more credence to the fact that slaves didn't touch those pyramids. And you would have to have a super advanced knowledge, and slaves don't have that, because slaves are supposed to be illiterate. You can't take an illiterate person and have them incorporate at high levels of science and technology into an ancient structure like that, and all those particular spatial and star alignments.
It wouldn't work.
They wouldn't even know.
Yeah, not even close, right?
Yeah.
And there's pyramids everywhere, right? Not just Egypt.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Everywhere,
all over the world, no matter where you go. Why? Because a master architect laid down the blueprint, and we find this in the Emerald Tablets, where Thoth tells his crew that once we finish rebuilding the land of Chem, I want you to spread out and duplicate what we did here. So that's the foundation tablet that tells you, hey, spread out and go out and duplicate what happened here. So this is why you see the same structures all over the world.
Are there any in the U.S., you guys think?
Oh, yeah, there's some structures in the U.S., in Michigan, where you're from.
Really? in Michigan.
Yeah. There's a hinge.
Stonehenge, right?
There's a Stonehenge underneath the
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan.
In Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and guess what's carved into the stone? The pillars, like mastodons and animals and stuff. So this is really ancient. It's like a Michigan henge.
Yeah.
You know, and underneath these burial mounds of a lot of these Native Americans or these indigenous American peoples, there are dolmens and big, large, giant bodies buried in these mounds. They dug up one mound and they found this Native American named Chief Joseph. In his pocket, guess what he had?
What?
A Sumerian cuneiform tablet.
No.
Yes.
What?
This is famous. Like, this is like known all over the world. How in the heck did he get a Sumerian cuneiform tablet in his pocket?
Wow.
He went to his grave with that.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's from the other side of the planet.
Right.
And that's the thing with the carvings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar carvings across different parts of the world, and they're all the same pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a form of communication back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a form of communication. People were communicating. People were utilizing different sciences. People were biohacking back then. We talk about ancient biohacking all the time on our podcast.
Whoa.
People were learning things like utilizing colloidal silver and stuff, right, Liz?
Yeah, if you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you know, that's saying. It's like really the people that had money would use silverware because they found that the health benefits from it, whereas slaves and stuff would use wood.
Oh, wow.
So that saying is real.
And what about the mushrooms? Only the high-level people can use the mushrooms, right?
Yes. You know what? It was so funny. This last tour, I've been really researching these hieroglyphs, and there's a ton of blue lotus flowers all over Egypt, but you'll find sometimes within those blue lotus flowers little mushrooms. And I'm thinking that high-level people would use those to gain expanded consciousness. So I mean it's written on the walls.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
So ancient biohacking, it was around back then, and herbology was big back then too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Herbology was huge.
Essential oils.
Yeah,
Wasn't
essential
it the original
oils.
place?
Yes.
The original place of essential oils was in Egypt, and there's this one room at
Edfu?
Edfu, yeah. Edfu, yes.
Temple of Horus at Edfu.
Yeah, that has all of these essential oils recipes all over the wall.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the original source for all of the essential oil recipes in the world.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We got a whole bunch while we were
Yeah.
there.
I bet.
We brought back a ton of
The ones they sell in the
essential
stores, I don't trust.
oils. Oh,
No.
no, they're not the same.
They're fake, right?
They're all fake.
Well, they're filled with these
Yeah.
fillers, and you can tell if you drop a drop of essential oil in water and it sinks to the bottom, then it's real.
Yes.
Yes. But if it stays at the top, then it has all these fillers.
That's a
and
good
everything.
test.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the arm test where if you hold an object and then
Yeah.
if there's resistance,
Kinesthesiology.
it's bad for you?
Kinesthesiology,
That's
yeah.
crazy,
We
right?
just did that in Egypt because I was trying to. What was I testing?
She was
Something.
testing me to see if something was making me better or worse.
right
Yeah.
in
Smart.
Egypt. So we stood up and I did that to him, and people were looking at us like, "What are they doing?"
It's crazy how smart the body is, right?
Oh
Yes.
yes,
How powerful it is.
absolutely. You
Super
can test
intelligent.
anything, supplements. I mean, we test foods. If you
Yeah.
want to, it's so easy. You just hold it up to your solar plexus and then put your arm out.
Yeah.
And if it makes you weaker, then it's not good for you.
Yeah, Dr. Be Serious was doing that to me.
Yes.
Yeah. It's real, man.
Yeah, it is real.
The first
It
time
is
I
very
experienced that was with Elisabeth. I didn't even know about that technique. And I was having this autoimmune response in my skin. It was kind of a side effect from being, years of being on a vegan diet.
Yeah.
You get these, a lot of people who were vegan for a very long time end up having autoimmune problems. And I was one of them. And I got off the diet, but I was still experiencing these autoimmune problems. And she took me to see this doctor in Michigan. And that's the first
Yeah,
time.
Dr. Jake.
Dr. Jake.
Kinesthesiology.
Yes.
Yeah,
he was giving me,
testing.
yes.
Wow.
And we were testing out. And what did we find? I think it was something, one of his supplements would seem like it was going to help. And guess what? When we took it, it
helped.
worked.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't know you were vegan. How long were you vegan?
my
Almost
God.
30 years.
Whoa.
No,
Yeah.
it was bad.
It was bad.
When I met him, he was
Yeah.
probably 20 pounds lighter.
Oh my God.
He was
And
like not.
And that was already on my way back.
Yeah.
I was down to 165 pounds at one point.
Yeah, you would see pictures of him and you wouldn't even.
Yeah, that's
recognize
way
him.
scarier than me, and I'm pretty skinny. so-
Yeah.
Oh, it got bad.
No. You look like a fat person compared to what I look like.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like
seriously.
185
Yeah.
right now.
And I'm going to send you a photo if you want to post it in this video.
Yeah, you could probably see your rib cage and everything.
Oh
Bro,
my God.
I looked like I already had one foot in the grave.
Damn.
And it got me so sick. And I was doing it not to save animals and save the world. I just didn't like, I'm a
'Cause that
texture
doesn't
person.
work that
Oh,
way.
so it wasn't an energetic thing you were doing it for?
No. Yeah. Saving the animals and all that doesn't work.
It doesn't. Well, it doesn't. See, a lot of vegans want
Yeah.
to save the animals by not eating them, but really, in turn, it messes it up way more because of farming. But anyways.
Heard about that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just texture. And but I had to overcome the texture situation because I started realizing I was going to die from being a vegan. It gave me osteoporosis, internal bleeding, leaky gut from all the oxalates and lectins ripping my gut line open.
Oxalates, well, literally, they're like triangles.
Yeah, I
and
heard.
They'll rip.
The kale, right?
Yes,
Oh, the kale destroyed me.
Your gut lining open.
I used to love kale chips. I stopped eating those.
And that was my biggest, most favorite meal to eat of the day was a big kale salad. And I was killing myself with every bite. Didn't even know it. I was getting so sick to the point where I went to go do an interview on Gaia. I was filming the first season of Deep Space. And I sat there for about 4 hours. And I got up out of the chair. And when I got up, my pants were wet. I had on a black suit, thankfully. I was like, what is this? And when I touched the chair, my fingertips were red.
Whoa.
And I realized that's blood that came out of me while I was doing the interview for the TV show. So while I'm doing that first season, which I recorded all in one take, I was sitting there bleeding.
Crazy. And you didn't even feel it?
I didn't feel anything. Just leaking out.
Crazy.
So I knew something had happened, but I started trying to figure out what it was, and I didn't want to blame the diet. Because when you're a vegan, you're in denial that the diet's killing you.
I noticed that about vegans. They're passionate.
They're really passionate about it. It becomes a religion.
Yes.
And so you really don't want to. You become a zealot
like a
for
salad,
it.
right?
Yeah. And you don't want to admit that it could be the diet that's killing you. I finally went to a doctor who used to be a real doctor, but it became a holistic doctor. And she told me, your diet is killing you. And then she made me get these blood panels, and she showed me in my blood panels why the diet was killing me.
Wow.
And saliva and stool and blood.
Completely depleted of nutrients,
everything.
Vitamins. I mean, plants, you have to think about it. Animals, they'll attack you if you're trying to kill them, to eat them, right? But plants, they don't have that attack mechanism. So how are they going to do it? They have toxins.
Chemical.
That'll like hurt you.
Right.
So you have to think about if you're consuming plants all day, you're consuming all of those toxins that could be really messing you up.
Yeah.
Some people's body have the gut biome that can handle it.
Yeah, like for me, I can digest oxalates and I can digest lectins, and it doesn't really affect me because I have the right bacteria in my gut. Yeah, but you do not.
I'm the opposite. So I don't have the ability to digest a vegan food from a vegan diet.
Yeah.
So people think that every single person on the planet is the same and everyone can eat the same things. So you can, if you go on a diet, it'll work for you because of this and that.
Crap.
Every person has their own individual diet they should specifically be on. And so I'm on a specific diet based on my blood, my saliva, and my stool. And I eat food based on what my body can actually handle, digest, and break down. And that's going to be different than anybody else on the planet. It's like a fingerprint. And so if everyone did that, there'd be a lot less people sick right now.
Yeah.
You have to think about where you were born, what you were raised on, what part of the world you lived. You know, it depends. It really depends. Like we were in Egypt with a good friend of ours, Tiberius, law of attraction.
Yeah.
So, and he was eating these just, you know, such the opposite breakfast of what we're used to.
Right.
I mean, cheese and hard-boiled eggs and olives and just, it was
beans.
Complete. Yeah, beans, all of this
Beans
stuff.
for
And I'm
breakfast,
like,
wow.
Yeah.
that would really tear me up.
Yeah.
But I'm looking, I mean, he grew up in Romania.
Right.
So, of course, that's going to be different.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, too. You share the same gut biome pretty much as the 5 people you're closest to because you're kissing or you're breathing on each other. You're in close encounters and close quarters. And we kind of noticed that because of our diets and our taste buds. They kind of blended together.
Yeah, kind of a little blend there.
So
yeah.
now
Interesting.
we like the same things pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big foodie, so I get excited when I travel. But I was in Bolivia. I ate some cow heart, and I got so sick.
Oh,
God.
yeah, scary. See, that's
So
why
sick.
we keep it safe when we're out of the
I was
country.
done for a week like you. I lost like 15 pounds.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
I'm glad
no.
you're all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we travel, we were very cautious. Matter of fact, on this Egypt trip, due to the fact that, you know that when you go to certain countries, people can get really sick from the food. So what we did was we had, through our guides, we had, 2 chefs, a custom order of food that was bought not by the crews, not by the people there, but by the people that we work with. Imported the food in
wow.
there.
Local,
Yeah.
yeah.
Smart.
From local, exactly where we were at on the different parts of the tour because, we had to take domestic flights.
Yeah.
Egypt is
Yeah.
huge.
So you
make
get the food
sure.
directly. Instead of it
Yes.
coming from some kind of importer, you import it from the local people. You get it right there. You have it sourced. Sourced is the right word, from the local people.
Yes.
And you make sure it's like coming from real farms and healthy. And the food was phenomenal. This is the best trip we had with
good.
food.
Nice.
Yeah, but I made sure that we brought the specific peptide that's really good for bacteria, viruses, and mold.
Yeah.
It's called LL37. And so we were taking that every day to probably, I was thinking like there's different type of bugs in different places to make sure that we stayed very clean while we were there.
Yeah, there's mold everywhere these days.
Oh my God, it's bad.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, man.
Our friend Bobby here is fighting a mold case right now.
Oh, man. Wow.
His previous apartment had it.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah, I think he told me about that the last time.
Yeah.
Deadly.
Oh, it's serious.
Deadly, man.
Yeah, it's deadly.
Yeah.
It's bad. You guys pumped for this election to be over with?
Oh, man. I can't wait. I can't wait because I'm going to be president again. I'm always going to be the president. Like every 4 years, I renew my presidency.
Yeah.
And people don't understand what that means. But when I tell you that I go in that line and I vote for myself, I actually physically go in the line and I vote for myself. And the reason why is because I really believe that I'm the president. And I think that if everyone took that mindset, this whole planet would change overnight. In other words, what I'm saying to people is I'm taking a stand and I'm saying I don't believe in the system that exists right now. And if everyone took the mindset like I'm the president of myself, my life, and my family, and then take on those presidential duties for yourself and your family and your community, all of a sudden you would enact and create solutions to problems within your life and within your community, and your community will change. Presidents cannot directly affect a community. They cannot directly affect even a state. We proved that during the whole COVID. I mean, the president was saying, shut down Florida, and the governor was saying, hell no, we ain't shutting down no damn Florida.
Yeah.
Everybody go outside and have a good time, take off their masks. And the whole world came to Florida to have a party, right, during the whole. So what I'm saying is they only have a limited amount of power. They're mostly, in my opinion, puppets. They're being controlled by other people. I mean, they don't even know where the aliens are and the UFO situation is. They're not even debriefed on that. There's people above presidents that have no congressional oversight, that operate with pure impunity and can do whatever they want. And they have trillions of dollars of access. And the presidents don't even know who they are.
Wow.
But when you go looking at the presidency, people think that they're voting for a president. You don't vote for a president. People literally think that every single person in the country is voting, and they count all the votes up and they go, okay, this person won because they have the most votes. Doesn't work that way. There's an electoral college. And so what happens is people are, in your state, you're voting for an elector. You don't vote for a president. And I want people to go to Britannica Encyclopedia online and look this up. You literally are voting for an elector. And then every state has electors that are chosen, and the elector has the ability to say, my state thinks it should be this candidate or that candidate, so we're going to go with the popular vote of the candidate. But the elector themselves, who nobody knows who these people are, what they look like, what their name is, they can actually make a vote for the unpopular vote, which has happened about eight times already in history. So they can select the president that is not even considered to be the one that really won that state.
Wow.
And these electors are over all these different states, and so they can choose who the president is. It happened most recently with, we know, George Bush, who took over the presidency. No, actually, most recently was Donald Trump. I'm sorry, Donald Trump. The last time he was president, he didn't win. He didn't win the popular vote, but he won the electoral vote. So by this method, they can control who's in office and who's not in office. And all this is tied to slavery, because this started because of slavery. During the time of slavery in the 1700s, they came up with this voting system because they were going to start off, with George Washington and build this whole presidency thing out and voting. And the southern states had slaves, but they wanted to get credit for these slaves so they can have more people in Congress. And they were like, wait a minute, these are slaves, they're property, not real people. So they came up with the Fifth Third Compromise. And during the Fifth Third Compromise, they now said, well, these are people, kinda. They're worth a fifth of a person. And so you got to give us credit for these people so we can have more power in Congress, which is what they actually did. And they built the Electoral College voting system off of that system.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so I don't
crazy.
believe in none of this trash, man. Listen, I'm the president, period. And if everybody took that mindset, this whole world would change overnight.
I feel the same way. No matter who wins, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Create your own reality, period, point blank.
Yeah.
You can either focus on that or you can focus on yourself and what's right in front of you, which really is all that exists. I think people put way too much attention on outside of what they can control. Like, why are you focusing on things you can't control?
Right.
Like the wars over here that are going on. Yes, it's horrible, but no amount of stress is going to make that situation better.
Right.
Energetically, even, it's making it worse. So it's like you create your own reality. Stop letting your power and giving your power to all these people, thinking that they're going to come in and save you or do something to help you.
Yeah.
Facts.
You do that for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a divide and conquer tactic, right?
That's what it is, divide and conquer tactic, and it's worked so well. People think that left wing and right wing are enemies. Listen, behind the scenes, they go golfing. They go on vacations together. They hang out together. They have parties. And they sit there and they laugh at us. We are a laughing stock. We, the general population, are a laughing stock to these elite poly-tricksters. And we believe that they really are coming here to save us. It's all about how can they monetize themselves? How can they cash in before their time expires? It has nothing to do with helping the American public whatsoever. And people are thinking that the president is coming to control and run the world. Presidents don't have as much power as people think they do.
Right.
They have limited power. They can't even tell a state what to do with their own budget. I mean, come on. So we have to stop thinking that the presidents of the United States are going to fix our problems within our households and our communities, because it's not going to happen. Right. In other words, get off your ass, stop laying back and kicking your feet up and watching the world burn, and take some action, because the only way you're going to manifest a better reality for yourself is having a conscious thought multiplied by action to create your own manifestation. If you don't do that process, that formula, nothing's going to change.
Nothing. Yeah, facts. Plus, they don't even realize these presidents, like you said, are puppets. There's globalists running the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
like, there's levels to the game.
Oh, come on. Council for Foreign Relations.
Yeah,
you know?
they run everything.
Everything. You know, I mean, these people.
I feel bad. There are good politicians out there.
There are some
good people
that
really
some.
don't know, you know, what I believe to be happening.
Yeah.
But they are even blocked. Like, I was very close. I was trying to change some laws in Michigan because of the horrible water crisis that's out there.
Flint.
Yeah.
Yes, but really Detroit too. It's just swept under the rug. Was as bad. It's all old infrastructure, so you have to assume that it was as bad. So I found out it was as bad, getting swept under the rug, and I was just trying to go in and at least introduce a bill to try to change a law to have some regulation on these poor high schools that are filled with lead water and asbestos and lead paint and stuff. So it was so heartbreaking, because in trying to do that, I had a meeting. I had a couple senators at the meeting, some lobbyists, and we're sitting there, and I'm like trying to see what we can do. And they were like, "Oh, come back in 5 years."
Yeah.
I was like, come back in 5 years after these kids have already graduated high school and now they're failing because they have neurotoxins affecting the way that they think. Really? I was like, okay, it's just not fair. And there's these systems within politics that you can vote for something and it can go up the vote from the House to the Senate, and then the majority in the Senate will decide if that goes up to the governor to sign into law or not.
Yeah.
So it's like the majority of the House, the majority of the Senate, Republican or Democrat, really controls what bills go up to the top to even get signed into law.
Right.
So if that bill doesn't agree with the Republican mindset or the Democratic mindset, sometimes it'll just get blocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're not getting paid, why would they approve it in their eyes?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It all comes down to the cheese.
Yes. And there's a crazy rainy day fund that I found out about through a high-level senator. And I'm like, there's all of this money in the rainy day fund. What about all of these potholes that are like big houses in the ground that like people are getting hurt from them? I mean, they're these rainy day fund. Why are they not fixing things? Why are they not rebuilding these high schools?
Yeah.
And fixing this horrible water situation, you know? So it's just all
Did you see
bullcrap.
they just proved that fluoride's dropping IQ?
Yes, they finally proved it, and it became finally peer-reviewed science.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 points already dropped.
Yes. Incredible to finally, because we've been talking about this for so long. I remember talking about this almost 20 years ago, and people told me I was crazy and you're just a conspiracy theorist. No, we're a conspiracy realist. Because now a lot of the things we've been talking about, a lot of the things I saw on your podcast, even just from a couple years ago, is all being proven true now.
Yep.
Facts.
This is crazy. Like, we're in a real time of opening of information and understanding and truth beginning to come out. And people think that it's all dark, but no, there is light peeking through, and I think eventually the light is going to take over the dark.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got to talk about these hurricanes.
Oh, man.
You guys are in Florida. First time you came on the show, we talked about the fires. I mean, this stuff seems fishy to me.
They have the technology to control storms, and they've been building these laboratories where they've been creating artificial hurricanes in Florida. And so I just saw a news feed the other day where they were showing how they can get the winds up to, Category 5 winds and what happens to the water and how the water wall builds. This is all in a laboratory setting, by the way.
Wow.
A huge lab that has water and everything. And so what the damage levels would be. But then they also have, devices like HARP that actually send these frequencies into the atmosphere. And they just admitted that these type of high frequency locations that transmit this information to the atmosphere can actually steer storms.
Whoa.
They can build storms and create one and have it start up, but then they can also, after they create it, they can steer it. And I keep telling Elisabeth, like, she's been down in Florida with me now for a few years, and we've seen these hurricanes coming through. My area has houses that are complete concrete fortresses. Our house can withstand a tornado. Matter of fact, in a couple neighborhoods over, a tornado actually hit, and the houses are still there. If that was Texas, they'd be flattened. Because the houses are poured concrete block, steel rebar. I mean, you name it, steel reinforced overhangs. They're fortresses.
Windows,
Category 5 hurricane windows, Category 5 hurricane garage doors. It's a fortress. But what happens is these hurricanes, they've been hitting areas in Florida that don't have our building codes.
The only areas.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, really? It's targeted?
Yeah. So I don't want to put it all the way out there, like, but
it's just funny.
How many times can a hurricane hit areas that have no drainage system? In Florida, no doubt, no drainage system, that have houses made of wood, no concrete block, no cinder block, no steel reinforced overhangs. And how many times is it going to happen? I mean, if it's happening 4 and 5, 6 times, you have to say, man, this ain't a coincidence anymore. Something's going on. Something's creating and flattening out an area to create opportunities for new real estate.
Right.
And I think that's what's going on. That's my personal opinion.
Wow. I mean, you see it on the West Coast with the fires, the East Coast with the hurricanes.
Yeah.
It really seems when you study it, it's being done intentionally.
Yeah. It always misses the area with the concrete homes.
No, it's like
It's crazy.
everybody was so worried about us, but it was just every hurricane that I've been in, and we've been in a couple together now. Been a slight breeze outside.
Oh, you guys stayed? You didn't leave?
Well, we were in Egypt.
We were in Egypt on this one. The ones before, the last one, we were
there.
home.
Yeah.
We just got some outer bands because it steered right around us.
Yeah.
It was coming directly for us, and then all of a sudden it just said whoop whoop, and went to the area where there's no flood, no drainage, and all homes made of wood.
Yeah.
And people lost everything.
Yeah.
I mean everything. They had just bought those homes. Those homes were brand new. They were only a couple years old, some of these houses, and they lost everything. One of our drivers, his mother's house got completely wasted.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, man, this is wild. How come it just keeps skirting around us and going to these areas that, have no real good construction? And now it's all fresh real estate.
The sad part is insurance isn't even covering it.
No.
They said it was a flood.
So the insurance, what they'll do is they'll give them maybe $1,000
Crazy.
for their whole house.
Horrible.
And then what can you do with that? Some people got maybe 10, 15,000, but you can't build a house with that. So you take the little bit of money and what do? You move. Now the area is vacant. Here comes all the construction people.
Yeah.
They're going to come in and developers. They're going to come in and rebuild the whole area, and it's going to be fresh property for sale.
You saw it in Hawaii.
Same thing. Same story.
Nuts, right?
Yeah.
Horrible.
There's some evil powers up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then FEMA ran out of money.
Yeah.
With the
we just
North
don't have the
Carolina.
750. I made a post that went so viral.
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
Go ahead, tell them what happened.
That post, it was like,
Yeah.
like all of the money that we were giving our people was so minuscule compared to the trillions, billions that we're sending overseas for wars.
Foreign aid.
And
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
The foreign aid number. It was that post went so viral. Even Trump utilized it in his own post.
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
posted this the
Wow.
same thing a couple hours later.
He took it almost line for line, made his own post. The only thing he did different was add a video and took a couple of things out, but it showed that that post went haywire.
Yeah.
What happened? Facebook decided it was somebody came, one of those fact checkers came and said fake information. I'm like, I got this from USGS and I got this from the United States website .gov.
Yeah.
I literally cut and pasted. She saw me doing it. I said, this post is gonna go viral. I was cutting and pasting from the government website, and then at the bottom it said we gave $750 to the victims of the hurricane, and that was it. And they put a what do you call it?
Disclaimer,
Disclaimer. After
check,
it got like almost I think 150 million views across all
gosh.
platforms, they put one of those fact checks on it.
They did that to our wildfire clip.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Crazy.
It's too much control these people have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awful. I think, is TikTok really going away? I think
They've been saying that for years.
They've been
Who
saying
knows?
it for a while. We'll see what happens in January. We'll see what happens in January.
Yeah.
Oh, they're saying that's the date?
They were saying January was the official date that they would have to, if somebody doesn't buy it by then, they'd have to.
Okay. Do you think it's a
be
psyop?
banned in Florida, in the United States? I mean.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
think they're just harvesting data? What do you think they're doing?
Well, the CIA wants the data. The FBI wants it. The United States government wants their data, and they're not getting it. They want the data from all these social media platforms. They have everybody else's data. Even on Facebook, if you delete and cancel and close your account and to remove all your content, The data is still stored at Meta, and Meta will provide it to the authorities for
even your messages?
Everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
Everything you've ever written or
those
posted.
little boxes that you go quick by because you don't read all of it? It's all in there.
It's all in there. So they'll store your data. They can store it forever. Yeah.
That's scary, right? Because then they could use that as evidence or something, or blackmail, who knows.
Make RICO against somebody, whatever. All on stuff that you closed off and deleted and erased from years and years ago can be brought up all over again. So it's crazy, but they can't get access to TikTok's data. So what do? You ban it. You ban it. You force them to sell it to an American-based company that they can then manipulate to get the data, or you tell them, well, we'll just ban you then. So now they're putting them in a tough spot. And they don't care about all the creators that are earning full-time income off of that, most of them being Americans. They don't care about them. The government really never cares about the people. They only care about enriching themselves, and that data is worth trillions of dollars, and that's what they want.
Crazy. Yeah. That's why Robert Edward Grant started his own app, right?
Yes, that's right. His own encrypted messaging app, which is doing phenomenal.
Yeah, shout out to Robert, because Telegram even now got infiltrated. They arrested the CEO.
Oh, yeah.
And now there's new TOS. I don't know if you saw this, but they can access your messages now.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, man.
Listen, that's the CIA.
Yeah.
They came in and said, look, we're going to bully you. And he probably got a few, contacts or warnings. They probably even showed up at his office. And he said, man, forget you guys. And he said, oh, really? Okay. Lock him up. So they locked him up. Now, okay, well, now we'll let you go, but this is what's going to have to happen. And then now they have access to all his data.
Crazy, because he was in France, so CIA goes worldwide.
Worldwide. They have safe houses everywhere, and they have assets in every country.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I just found out yesterday there's 456 government agencies controlling different industries.
That's
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's too many.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Oh, God. It's just...
Scary times.
Yeah.
I don't even know... I try not to focus on the negative stuff too much.
Yeah, right, because you create your own reality. You got to focus about what's in front of you, what is real. What is not.
But I think it's at least important for people to know.
Yeah, you have to know. Because if you don't know, then what happens is you have no idea when and how you're being manipulated or when and how you're being violated.
Right.
So you have to have the understanding that it's there. Okay, I know this is here, so let me act accordingly.
Facts. I remember when chemtrails was a conspiracy, when 5G was a conspiracy, and now at least people know and there's studies on it.
Yeah, there's real studies. I posted an application for chemtrails. In other words, you can, I think it was for California, you can actually download the application from their state website. If you had a plane and you wanted to get paid to actually go up and do this geoengineering. Yeah. And I posted that a few years ago and it went viral because people didn't know it was a real thing. Now they were like, you were telling the truth the whole time. I was like, yeah.
Crazy. What are they putting in the air?
They're putting silicates and boron and all these other particulates that actually reflect the sunlight back out into space. They're trying to cool the planet. What they're doing is they're dropping poison on people and getting people sick and ill and giving people new illnesses and diseases that they don't even know what's going on, all in return for making big money.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid, seeing global warming on the news and being scared.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of BS, right?
You find out so much as you get older,
the ice cores tell you the truth. So if you go and research all the ice core data that we have collected, which is publicly available knowledge, you find that these warming and cooling periods are cycles of nature. And that we're not even in the warmest warming cycle that ever happened. We're in a cooler version of a warming cycle. And we're right in the pocket for this warming cycle, but it's not even the hottest that it's been in the past. And the ice cores are like a data bank of all the cycles that have existed for thousands of years. So when you analyze this, you begin to realize like, oh, this global warming is a cycle. It has nothing to do with cows farting. It has nothing to do with exhaust from cars. It has nothing to do with hairspray cans, what they tell us.
Yeah.
Have we contributed some to it? Yes. With our carbon footprint? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and say we haven't. But overall, it's a natural cycle on Earth that is going to persist for many more thousands of years.
Crazy. And they know that and they figure out ways to make money off that fear.
They monetize the fear. When you get somebody afraid, they monetize it. That's how they make money in the medical industry, right? They scare you. You go to the doctor, they scare you, then they give you the meds.
Yeah. Nocebo you. You create sickness within your own head,
Right.
Medical industry.
Yes, it's horrible.
20% of our GDP right now. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
1/5 of our whole country.
Crazy.
And rising fast.
Oh, yeah. Well, America, what do you say about America's illness and sickness?
I mean, it's the third most leading cause of death, I think, is going to the doctor.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so twisted and backwards. And honestly, I mean, I had such a poor perspective of Western medicine because of what happened to my family. My dad died from complications of knee surgery. Knee surgery.
That's crazy.
My brother, they messed him up when he was young, so he's had to have a kidney transplant. My mom actually gave him her kidney, and he now has been on dialysis almost 8 years.
Wow.
Waiting for another kidney. Even though they have the technology at this point to
they can make organs now, right?
Yes, they can. So they're not releasing that to the public yet, which is bull crap. But
I don't think they ever will, to be honest, in the U.S. at least.
Yeah,
they just want the money.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother goes to dialysis 4 times a week for 4 hours at a time.
Big industry. Big
That's
industry.
a lot of money. That's a ton of money. But yeah, I mean, it's just they're finding microplastics in lung tissue and actual scrotums now.
Yes.
They're finding microplastics. I think some of the chemtrails might be some microplastics, because how else is this stuff getting into the air inside of our lung tissue?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And plastics are endocrine disruptors. So hormones are getting all jacked up.
Yep.
You know, you have boys now that are changing because they have higher estrogen levels and extremely low testosterone levels. I mean, people literally, I've had so many friends of mine that have felt awful, can't sleep, just not here all the way because their hormones are messed up.
Yeah.
And you're finding this younger and younger every single year. I mean, now in ages 30, people are starting to have hormone replacement therapy at ages 30.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
That should be your peak.
Yes.
30.
Exactly.
That's your peak. That's when you're at your best.
Wow.
So they're creating this situation so that they can, create the problem, wait for the reaction, and then provide the solution. That's their system.
Exactly. They want to keep you between sick and healthy so you can keep coming back for that medicine every single month, every single week, whatever it is.
And then anytime there's a cure found, the guy ends up dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like those doctors on the flight last month, it was like 6 cancer doctors.
Yeah, gone.
Gone, dude.
Yeah.
You can't even say the C word on YouTube. The video will get taken down.
Yeah.
That industry is so twisted. How have we dumped trillions of dollars into an industry, right? And they still have not come up with the solution.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's
Yeah.
so there.
The tech is there. My friend cloned his dog overseas.
Wow.
His dog passed away. He paid this guy $50,000 in Germany, took a piece of the dog,
Yeah.
exact same dog.
Wow.
So cloning is possible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely possible. And, curing that thing is possible, with frequency technology. It's just like even nanobot technology. But it's just like, they make so much money off of the treatment, which the treatment actually kills you.
Yeah.
Which is just so bizarre. They make money on you on your way out. First, they get you sick and they make money on you while you survive. And then when on your way out, they make more money on you on your way out. It's like, geez.
That's not enough. And then the funeral is another $20,000.
Right.
Exactly.
Look at all the corporations that support the breast, month. And so they all wear the pink.
Yeah.
You have the pink shoes, the pink shirts, the pink this, pink that. I used to coach a team in high school, and so every year we'd have the pink. And I got to the point where I said, "Why are we putting this pink stuff on? There's no way in the world this amount of time has gone by they haven't found anything that can fix this problem."
Yeah.
So I said, "We're not wearing pink anymore." But when you look at the corporations that are promoting this pink celebration, right, for this illness, they all have carcinogens and toxins in their products. So why don't they just remove that from their products, and we don't need to have the pink anymore? There's no need for pink because you'll remove the toxins from the system. So the ones who are the most toxic are the ones promoting it the hardest.
Wow. Ironic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 400,000 signatures on this Kellogg's. Have you seen this?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
They're trying to get rid of all the cereal.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank
all
goodness.
the cereal for our kids, all the glyphosate and
Oh, man.
So bad. Red
Yeah.
40 and all that.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Cancer causing, ADHD causing. You got to wonder why these kids these days, I mean, there's an uptick in ADD, ADHD.
Yeah.
Of course there is. There's
Same with autism,
neurotoxins
too.
in everything that they're,
autism's high.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you're destined to fail. The
Yeah.
system creates it to fail.
Yeah, I remember my school lunch was a joke. I don't know about you guys.
Oh,
But,
man.
Horrible.
Oh, man.
Horrible.
Mystery meat Mondays. And this is going back a while. And, I went to school in the 70s and 80s.
Mystery Meat Mondays?
Oh, it was bad.
Oh, man.
It was
Expired
bad.
milk and mystery meat.
Oh, yeah, they're giving you the pasteurized milk and the can, the
Yes.
chocolate milk with all the sugar.
Bro,
Right,
it was
right.
French fries.
Bad.
Old Domino's pizza.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
fair. It's
yeah.
just it's awful. And this is what these kids are growing. I mean, they have organs and brains. They're developing, and it's like we're feeding all this toxic stuff into
Yeah.
these young children that they're literally developing still.
Yeah. And then we expect them to get good grades.
Yeah, exactly.
How come you're acting up?
Yeah, yeah. And then we tell them, don't do drugs. But then we give them Adderall because they can't sit still for 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
In 4th grade, they tried putting me on that. 4th grade. I was 10 years old.
Jeez.
It's bull crap. We did a lot of research in this, and they even prescribe babies.
Yes, babies.
Babies, benzos.
Yes, benzos.
Whoa.
For anxiety.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Babies can't have anxiety.
Babies.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yes.
What would they be anxious about?
Exactly.
Yeah, we did a whole podcast on this. We got all the stats from the official science sites.
Yes.
Babies.
Damn.
They start them young.
Children. Benzos, a benzo will change your brain forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're giving these to these children, and then you become dependent upon it.
Yeah.
And now your brain is not functioning the way that a normal brain would function because you need this certain substance to make you feel this certain way.
Yeah.
And we wonder why people are drug addicts, searching for all these ways to feel better because, this became the norm.
Yeah.
This became the norm for these kids.
Yeah. The earlier they start them, the more they make.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
They just see us as a dollar sign.
That's it, man.
That's it.
It's messed up.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, where can people find you guys in the next trips and everything in the next events?
Yes.
Well, they can find me on Instagram, Elisabeth I. Carson, spelled with an S. My name is spelled with an S. And our next trips, we are going to Peru in June of next year from the 2nd to the 11th. It's going to be phenomenal. Can't wait to go there. And then, of course, we do our Egypt tour. If you guys want to come to Egypt, too, sign up next year because we're taking 2026 off of tours.
Yeah.
So, join us next year. It's going to be amazing.
Beautiful.
It's going to be amazing. Of course, I'm Billy Carson. You can find me on Forbidden Knowledge, number 4, on Instagram and any other platform. And don't forget to log on to your app store and get the Forbidden Knowledge, number 4, Forbidden Knowledge TV app. 100,000 downloads on Google Play, 100,000 downloads on Apple, 5 stars on both.
Boom. Yeah, check it out, guys. Anunnaki series is going to be on there soon, right?
Yes, the Anunnaki episode 1's out, but the other episodes are coming out now. We just got them all completed, so now they're going to drop on the network.
Boom.
You can only watch the Anunnaki series on Forbidden Knowledge TV.
Boom. Get that, guys. We'll link below. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Peace.